Once upon a darkness-filled dawn, the horizon lit up with a colossal blaze so fierce it painted the skies crimson. The moment it erupted, it became clear this was no ordinary assault. Today, we bring you the harrowing account of how Ukraine struck deep and hard in Russian airbase, obliterated Ukraine's precision strike. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Frontline Report channel. Please subscribe and like my videos, and turn the bell on so you won't miss any of our coverage from the front. The story begins from outside the hardened perimeter of the base. Massive fireballs burst from underground bunkers, fuel tanks erupted like volcanoes, and shockwaves rippled across runways cracked by the impact. On the exterior, you could hear the roar of explosions echo across the plain, the rumble of collapsing hangars, and the thunder of munitions igniting. Smoke plumes towered into the sky, the setting sun turned orange in the haze, giving the scene an apocalyptic edge. From vantage points miles away, villagers watched in disbelief as the unthinkable unfolded, a strike by Ukrainian forces into the heart of what had been considered safe territory. Many homes shuddered from the blast, windows shattered in nearby towns. The message was unmistakable: nowhere is out of reach. According to satellite imagery and open-source intelligence, the attack struck multiple strategic bomber aircraft, fuel storage, and weapons depots, dealing an estimated multi-billion-dollar blow. Stepping inside the base, once the secure corridors, motor pools, and logistics hubs, the devastation was total. Hangars lay roofless, aircraft wreckage strewn across the tarmac, twisted metal beams reaching skyward like skeletal fingers. Aviation fuel had pooled and ignited, creating rivers of fire. The very air inside was thick with acrid smoke. Personnel, shelters, and command bunkers were damaged. The devastation underscored how precision had been applied, key targets disabled in a coordinated strike rather than a broad, brush bombardment. Analysts report that roughly a third of Russia's strategic bomber fleet was hit in the operation. In terms of performance, the strike showcased a number of remarkable features. First, the reach. This was not a frontline skirmish. It was deep inside Russian territory, striking vital infrastructure that Russia assumed was out of reach. The vehicles, aircraft, fuel, and arms stockpiles were intended to be secure, yet the Ukrainian forces executed a multi-axis assault, reportedly using dozens of drones, guided bombs, and autonomous systems to penetrate and destroy targets. Second, the efficiency. Reports indicate dozens of high-value aircraft including strategic bombers were lost or damaged, planes that Russia cannot easily replace. Third, the precision. Rather than launching a carpet-bombing raid, this strike appears to have selected high-value targets, runway bombers, fuel depots, and executed the mission with such timing that much of the base's air defense failed to intercept effectively. Russian officials acknowledged that hundreds of drones were shot down, but still the strike penetrated. On safety features, in the context of how the attack was conducted, Ukraine appears to have built in operational safeguards. By using unmanned aerial vehicles and long-range standoff systems, Ukrainian forces minimized risk to their personnel. The strike's execution deep inside enemy territory suggests that the planners ensured escape routes, concealment, and timing to avoid heavy casualties. On the receiving side, the attacked base evidently lacked sufficiently hardened shelters and rapid-fire suppression defenses. The conflagration spread, fuel tanks ignited, and cratering occurred. That exposed vulnerabilities in the Russian base's safety architecture: fuel storage too close to vulnerable points, hangars unhardened, inadequate decoy systems, and peripheral air defenses not optimized for swarming drone attacks. Analysts now believe that Russia will have to redeploy mobile air defense assets and re-engineer base safety protections to prevent repetition of such strikes. What makes this operation uniquely critical? Its unique selling points are as follows. 1. It signals a shift in the war's dynamic. Ukraine is not just defending, it is proactively striking deep into Russian territory. 2. It achieved real strategic effect, not merely symbolic. By taking out a portion of Russia's strategic bomber capability, Ukraine degraded the opponent's ability to project and strike. 3. It demonstrates Ukraine's growing mastery of precision strike capability. The use of drones, standoff munitions, electronic warfare, and intelligence all combined. 4. It amplifies psychological impact. The message that Ukraine can hit what was thought invulnerable shakes morale and forces Russia to divert resources from the front to base defense. And 5. It's cost-effective, relatively low-cost drones versus multi-million-dollar bombers and infrastructure, meaning a high return on investment for Ukraine's military. Indeed, analysts estimate this one operation inflicted billions of dollars in damage and maybe weakened Russia's bomber fleet by dozens of aircraft. Regarding price or cost, while the exact monetary figures are classified or estimated, open-source intelligence suggests this operation cost Ukraine significantly less than the value of the assets destroyed. One report values damage at about $7 billion for Russia for the hit of 41 aircraft and base infrastructure. On Ukraine's side, the cost may include drone manufacturing, intelligence operations, logistics and sorties, but compared to multi-hundred million dollar bombers destroyed, the cost ratio heavily favors Ukraine. Additionally, the indirect cost to Russian needed to rebuild or relocate bomber fleets, strengthen airbases, relocate assets deeper, and reinforce air defense networks will multiply the financial burden. According to defense analysts, this one strike will force Russia to invest heavily in base hardening, decoys, anti-drone systems, and relocation of aircraft. Thus the price for Russia is large, for Ukraine relatively modest, especially considering external assistance. In conclusion, this strike marks one of the most daring and consequential operations of the war yet. What once seemed secure inside Russian territory is now vulnerable. Ukraine has demonstrated it can pick key nodes, strike them with precision, and impose strategic consequences. For Russia, it heralds a shift in vulnerability. The era of bomber bases beyond the front lines may be ending. For Ukraine, it brings momentum, proof of capability, and morale boost. For watchers of modern warfare, it presents a textbook case of asymmetric warfare. Cost-effective means striking high-value targets, exploiting technological and tactical advantages, and forcing a stronger adversary into a reactive stance. As the war continues, one fact becomes clearer. The defenders on whichever side cannot rely purely on distance or strong walls. Modern precision, drones, intelligence, and daring are redefining the calculus. If you found this video insightful, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with friends. Stay tuned to the Frontline Report channel for more detailed breakdowns of major operations. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay informed.